Peace and good day to you. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about putting in the work. Not just putting in the work, but receiving the instructions in order to do so. Are you really receptive to what you are hearing, or are you only listening to what it is you want to do? Putting in the work. Come on in. Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Kashia, also known as @AlienBlackGirl_ with the Black Librarian podcast out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And before I begin, go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let me know how you feel about today's topic. I am talking about putting in the work and what that really looks like. Putting in the work for your purpose, putting in the work for mateship, putting in the work for your relationships with other people in general. So what does that look like? The reason why I wanted to talk about this topic is because we are in the season of gathering of information and preparing. And, in the colder months, we really like to, get the grind on for the summer months, for the, time to be outside months, and so we really have to look at what does it mean to put in the work. So in terms of the purpose and your purpose, you have to be completely and totally honest about what it is that you want to do in your life. You have to be completely and totally honest about who you are and what it is that you need and what it is that you envision for yourself, along that path. Because without that, putting in the work won't even be on your radar, because there's a forever searching and not being honest with yourself about what it is that you need and what it is that you require, for your purpose, because we're talking about purpose at this moment. So, once we are shown our purpose, whether it be from the most high, the creator, which is where the purpose originally comes from. Your purpose comes from the creator. Oftentimes those instructions may come in ways that we may not want to hear them, and we may tend to block those out and get emotional or defensive when those things appear, but you have to question that defensiveness. For example, if someone is telling you, yes, you want to do this with your life, you want to be a baker, let's just say a baker. You want to be a baker in your life. So, but you don't have any business sense, but you don't have any knowledge of how to handle cash. You can't even handle your own budget, so what are your steps to do that? And you immediately jump to, so you're saying I can't do it? You're saying that, it's impossible? No, you're not. That's not truly receiving what it is that's being told. Those are more practical, actionable steps, to get to that purpose. And oftentimes, when some of us hear those things, we think they are dream killers or trying to take your shine or something like that. But that is that, that light being shined or shown on you to help with that expansion, or to help with that purpose, to help with that to reality. Especially in this day and age, we can really be caught in a fantasy of how we want things to go, and I will say that social media and the media as a whole, music, literature, all of those things are major influences on, how things are supposed to be. Everything looks so simple. Everything looks so easy to obtain. And I myself have been guilty of, the scrolling obsession and idolization, whether it be from movies, music, and perceptions of people's happiness, and how they achieve their goals. So in terms of purpose, it's extremely important to understand that putting in the work also means seeking out that elder counsel. And I say elder because there's definitely a difference between being an older and an elder. An elder it has been somebody that's been approved by a community, an older, it attributes to dysfunction, and they're just aged, So, so back to the purpose. So it's really important, when there is a vision that you have, you can turn that can be your purpose. But if you're truly wanting to achieve that purpose, part of putting in that work is initially receiving feedback without that ego being the first defense, without that ego automatically going to, well, I can do no wrong, I have this vision, so nobody's going to take that shine. It's like, well, okay, but do you know how to do these things? Is this something that you really want to prolong? Just having those sober assessment conversations with yourself and humbling yourself to know that this is what I need to hear and do in order to, break some habits that have been keeping me back, and break some thought patterns that have gotten me nowhere, especially if there has been a repetition of failure with lack of assessment and follow through on those, assessments of what went wrong. We can't fail and not assess and then, try again. That's a part of that as well. So in terms of purpose and putting in the work, that initial step of receiving information and then processing it and having that humble sober assessment, and that also, that reception, also comes in with doing. When you know better, you do better, you are better, so it's also about doing what is necessary, and it's uncomfortable, especially when it gets us out of our comfort levels, but oftentimes you got to think about when we are comfortable, that's dangerous. That means things can be shaken up and you don't know how to act, or react. So there's so much growth in room for growth when you do that as well. So, but you must act, and that action needs to be off, knowledge and rationality, and not an emotional feeling or an emotional reaction because your pride might got hurt, because your ego is standing too big, to receive any information or knowledge or the words that you're being told. So when it comes to our purpose, putting in the work, a lot of that is receptivity and receiving, all the works and the hand that has been given to you, and you just never know. A lot new paths will be open to you, new ways of being that'll elevate you to be where you need to be in your station. So, yeah.
Yo, first things first, visiting the edge of your legs, be the feeling from the words that I said. Ain't touched yet, but you tell me what you wanna. Ain't planned on it, but it's written that we gonna. Gullah, hop on it, hit the gas flurry. Might need a mop for. Who need a flyer when you got a floor? Shoot blowing dimes, but I got a four. Shoot out of line, blowing mine with no mind for. I ain't moving back, go into that old world. Left fit all, even some gold for my old girls. I always told them one day you get old, girl. So when I'm gone, just put this on and see me shine, girl. In a day's work, pay you in a day's off. Spending many days on, trying to get your game strong. I can never be the target that you aim on. Close but no cigar, now we can't smoke.
Replay, every day's the same day. Peace. So this is Kashia with the Black Librarian podcast out of Fayetteville, North Carolina. And today I am talking about and continuing the conversation of putting in the work. Please go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and talk to me on Twitter, Black Shelves. You can find me at AlienBlackGirl_ on Instagram, the Black Librarian Podcast _ on Instagram. Talk to me, okay? So now putting in the work when it comes to relationships and mateships. And again, when I say mateships, mating, that means matching. A lot of times, I'll start with mateship. A lot of times we have this ideal of how we want a relationship to be in our heads. You get caught in that fantasy and that delusion of it, and you're not really considering, who is in front of you. You don't ask the important questions that you need, to get out of that delusion. Because a lot of us will get stuck in the imagining what could be or what would be or how it should look like, and you don't ask the person in front of you, and then you get all twisted up, so you get all twisted up, and it's no fault but your own, because there was no true exploration of, what is being said, or so, and that's part of putting in the work of getting to know somebody on a more personal level, before you get intimate, before you do anything else moving forward. It's just really knowing who that person is in front of you instead of imagining things, and that imagination aspect does go along with that social media craze and perception of happiness when it comes to relationships. All we see is the proposals, and all we see are the love moments or the kissy moments, on social media, but you don't see, the work that is put into those relationships or not put into those relationships, and you just automatically hashtag goals these things, and it can really get you caught into an unrealistic perception of what relationships are, so you're not hearing the person in front of you when they say things, because your imagination has gone way too far, so in the adult thing to do in these situations, we cannot perceive how somebody's going to be. We have to ask those important questions and put in the work by, really getting thorough with who we're trying to see, what they're about, which also brings the importance of the difference of, dating versus courting. Oftentimes in that dating aspect, things get done a little weird, and they get done out of order. Oftentimes you'll see premarital sex and, just doing, what do they say? Doing all the benefits of, wifey and hubby, without any, conversations of what is going on. And sometimes that leads into having children too early, and then there's no plan for them, or you end up, intertwining with someone, and then you find out you don't even like the person, or, they talk too much, or, you just don't know those things. So part of putting in the work is being able to sustain those carnal energies, and really getting to understand who is in front of you, what they really need, and if you can fit into that plan. That's the beauty of courting. And, within my community on Life Global Ministries, we really believe in that courting aspect to get to know who is in front of us, ask those hard questions, thorough questions, really getting to see, how one another reacts in certain situations, or in how they are in certain seasons. It's very important. to really have that courtship aspect, which is also infused with culture and tradition and the sacredness of a community that values that courtship process, versus dating. It can be really hard to put in the work to something that in the dating culture, it's full of, there's no certain statures there. We're gonna just see how this goes, and well, based off the internet, this is how it's supposed to be, or based off of this is how it's supposed to be, when that's not how it's supposed to be at all. And that's why we have so much relationship confusion, is because we're not putting in the work to get to know one another before we get to know one another, if you know what I'm saying. And so therefore we breed instability, we breed dysfunction in so many ways, and then we breed irrational concepts around relationships and getting together, and we don't explore other options that we have in which to get together. We're so trapped in one concept that is really and when I say one concept, I mean one dynamic, of how we're supposed to get together and what's that supposed to look like, and, placing our value, what we place our value on, with ourselves, and our purpose and roles within those relationships. So I will say, with relationships mateships, first, I would like to say with mateships, it's really about putting in the work to explore the person that you're going to, build with, expand with, or, whatever it is that is required, for that partnership, for that union. So it's very important to put in that work, to ask those uncomfortable questions, and just be honest about everything. So when it comes to relationships and interpersonal relationships with people, outside of mateship, putting in the work, you have to identify who your people are. One thing that Chief Yuya says, head Jegna from New Life Global Ministry, is, we want to help the people, and we want to do for the people, to give back for the people. We have to see who the people are. We have to identify that culture, and are these people, are you of the same way of life? And so once you establish that culture and that group of people of, who's your people, then you have to put in the work to be able to trust one another, to be able to build with one another, so that you can be able to mate with one another, so that you can, be able to expand and secure together with one another. You'll hear the sayings, oh, I can't keep a friend, or, all of those, proclamations that seem cool, but they really scream loudness and, dysfunction. You have to assess, how are you putting in the work? Are you playing victim in your situations? Are you just bad at talking at people? What is the issue? What is the root? What are you not doing within those personal relationships and within your identified culture and community? And also, putting in the work is being able to receive criticism and give criticism without being offended, and healthily being able to say, hey sis, I saw you over there, and what's going on with you? You good? You got to do a little better. This is not how we do, so things like that. Or, and being able to receive that and say, what, you're right. I've been slipping. Thanks for watching my back, because your community, your people are not going to want to see you fail. Your community and your people are going to want to see you excel, and you should want that for them as well, So, part of putting in that work is reciprocity, and true reciprocity, just because you give one way is not going to be, don't expect to receive it first of all, at all, or even in the same manner, So reciprocity is definitely a key aspect, and compassion for one another as well. And respect, because when you do respect someone, you're seeing the source within someone, and you're able to treat them as such. You're kind. So yeah, this is something to think about. Putting in the work. You hear it all the time. You got to put in the work, do the work. But nobody really talks about what that looks like. We tend to like to say phrases that make us sound like we're so deep, but honestly, if you think about what is deep about it, actually, people honestly really shy away from it. I have been guilty of that. If something might look a little difficult and I haven't known that kind of idea of thinking before, I'm just like, oh, wow, so, we get better, we grow through those things, and putting in the work is a part of the journey and the experiences, and think about the people you would learn, the lessons that you would learn, the people you would meet, the horizons that are open to you when you do the work, well done, my good and faithful servant, you know what I'm saying? So, when you do the work and put in the effort, there's going to be that reward, what is promised for you. So, each day we learn those things, I myself am learning those things. So, yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about what is putting in the work for you. What does that look like? And have you ever fallen short on putting in the work? And can you say that? Can you say like, phew, I need to be accountable for my actions? I think that I'm so used to things being handed to me. You gotta put in some work, like true work. And that's okay, as long as that willing spirit to learn, to receive and remain. And remember, receiving means actually to take in and then do. Take in and give back, take in and put out. So life is a learning experience, y'all. So I hope to hear from you. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share at Black Shells on Twitter. I think, it's at Black Shells on Twitter. The Black Librarian Podcast _ on Instagram and Facebook. And I give thanks for you listening to the Black Librarian Podcast. Peace.